Welcome to Chronic Combat Conversations, a live look at our best bets, picks, and predictions for every UFC event. With your hosts, TB Scouting MMA and
The Guru, back again for UFC Vegas 54. Jan Blachowicz taking on Aleksandar Rakic in your light heavyweight title contender eliminator. Man, this fight's going to be amazing. But before we can get into that, we've got somebody special in the house tonight. 4-0 in the UFC, 3 performance of the night bonuses, 1 fight of the night bonus. Man, thank you so much for coming here, Mr. Adrian Yanez. What is going on, buddy?
Oh man, nothing much, man. Just got a fight announced, so I'm super happy about that. Honestly, man, I'm just loving living life, man. That's the motto that I've been living by, man. Loving living life, and that's exactly like
We love that motto, man. Seriously, congratulations on the fight announcement, by the way.
Oh yeah, man. Thank you. I've been asking since February, so I'm fucking I'm fucking ecstatic.
Chomping at the bit, huh? June 18th, right? Against Tony Kelly.
June 18th, I got a game opponent in Tony Kelly, and then just the finally getting to fight in my home state. It's not Houston, but something close. It's like a 2.5, 3-hour drive for me, and I'm fucking excited.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. So I mean, were you looking for someone like specifically in the top 15, or was this just kind of like fighting at home in Austin, Texas was more of a priority than like the specific matchup in this case?
Honestly, like I had said just a minute ago, like, man, I've been asking for a fight since February. I told him, so like the way everything I kind of planned out for me is after that Davey Grant fight, I really wanted to take a couple months off, like, December, January, February. And I got with my management team in February, the beginning of February, being like, hey, look, I'm starting to ramp up my training. I want to fight in May. I was like, I want to make sure I get a fight end of April, May. Let's start working on stuff like that. And then next thing you know, weeks just ended up turning days to weeks to months. And I'm just like, all right, fuck. So it had like no one in particular, and it was actually kind of crazy, kind of funny that, someone had tagged me in like someone like Nate Maness's Facebook post and was like, hey, like, like he's like, just to clear the air. Because I did mention his name a couple times in one of my gaming streams, and they're like, yeah, no, that was a possibility. Because at the time, he was a possibility, and I was like, all right, cool, like I'm cool with that. Like, dude, whatever names y'all give me, I don't care. Because I even gave him the 3 names for my 3 names for Tashawn. And I was like, bro, the 3 people that called me out, give me them. I don't care. Like, give me those guys. Like, I don't care which one it is. Let's set something up. One, UFC doesn't want that right now. And the other 2, at the time, Tony Kelly was booked and Nate Maness was the only option. So I was like, all right, cool. Like, it looks like Nate Maness is. And things just kept going on. Like, and it turned into a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then someone tagged me in his post and was like, man, I haven't heard about a fight in I've been asking for about 6-7 weeks and I haven't heard anything. I was like, they tagged me, like, you versus Giannis would be a fucking phenomenal fight. And I was like, yeah, it's actually crazy. I've been waiting for an answer for 8 weeks already. So I was like, hey man, I feel your pain. And come to find out, Nate Maness is going in a different direction. They have he's going in a different direction, and Tony Kelly happened to pop open, and pretty much like we got that fight scheduled. It was like pretty on point. Like, I'd got with my manager, I think it was last week, and I didn't sign we didn't sign the contract officially until yesterday. So like, it's signed, sealed, and delivered, and we're good. Like, literally when that post was made on Instagram, it was like literally like 5 minutes right after that.
Wow, that's very that's awesome that actually happened. I wanted to say though, Nate Maness is actually a friend of the show. We've had him on, and I'm not to throw the competition out there because I know you're not scheduled to fight him at the moment, but he did come on and he did the whole pod, man. He did the whole card with us. He's a fucking savage for that. We thank Nate for that. Honestly, that would be a great fight between you two because you guys are like just fucking, you guys, I hate to say that because it's so cliche, but you guys are seriously stand and bang savages in there. Love to fight, always game, really would probably have to put your lights out to put you guys down.
Oh
So,
yeah, no, that's like huge respect. That's why I wanted that fight. That was like a big thing, like because first initially the reason why I wanted that fight is because he had called me out, but then once I took a step back and actually like watched his fight, I was like, oh, this guy's a banger. I like it. Like I think that proves to be like another 50K bonuses for the both of us. So I was like, man, let's do that. Let's I'm 100% game because bro, it just lights up nothing but fireworks. And me, I love to please the crowd. Like I haven't fought in the crowd since LFA 78.
Oh
So
shit.
so
Yeah.
to me, I'm like, man, I want to fight in front of a crowd and like all that shit. Like I wouldn't mind fighting in the Apex again, but I want to fight in front of a crowd.
A real crowd, yeah.
But
for sure.
Nate Maness, me and Nate Maness would absolutely be fireworks. But also, I got a great consolation prize in the Tony Kelly fight, so I'm not tripping, But
No, not
I
at
got
all.
I got big respect for Nate and Tony. Big respect because there's only 3 people that call me out. Everybody else has been hush mouth.
Dude, but seriously, speaking of after that Davey Grant fight, I know you wanted to fight like recent. So first off, a couple things. I have no idea how the headphones are on your head. How is your ear doing,
Oh.
dude? That was the craziest thing ever. Other than the next to the Brahimaj injury where his thing is falling off his head like that, yours was nasty, dude.
Yeah, it got extremely big. I'll pull off to the side. So this is the ear now.
Nah,
like actually,
you're looking
it's
fresh.
okay.
Got a fresh
it's
cut. You're
good.
looking good.
Oh yeah, I had to. I knew I was coming on the podcast. So I was like, yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go.
But this one isn't as bad. The only thing is that the ear hole is actually kind of like I can't wear AirPods anymore. I can't. Well, not AirPods.
No.
I can't fit the ones that like had that like the extra cushion to fit in your ear. So I had to get like the little like those little gummy things that put it in. Like those ones. Those are the ones. But this is the one that like was that I had before the fight, and it just started getting worse.
Oh,
see this one.
Okay. Wow.
So, yeah, but this one I appreciate this one because the inside of the ear I can like put a regular headphone in there and be good. So it's like I'm kind of like, well, what the fuck, man? This one looks worse than the other one, but this one I could fit a regular ass headphone in. So I'm like, whoa, you got to give and take. Looks or
the
usability.
functionality.
So, yeah.
That's awesome, man. But speaking of looks, are you dating anybody right now, Adrian? You single? I don't even know your status.
Man, bro, I keep all my family and all that stuff personal, man.
Like, no worries.
Try to keep it. Yeah, no, but I've had a long time girlfriend. Actually, today is like a 9-year anniversary. So
wow,
yeah,
today awesome.
Specifically.
Yeah. Today specifically, man.
Wow.
She is pissed off right now.
Oh my god.
I'm kidding. No.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah,
that's
amazing, dude.
It's crazy because it's like 9 years for us, and then it's also marks our baby's 5th month, like his 5th month on Earth and everything. So everything kind of just
bro. Congratulations.
And thank you.
That's seriously mazel tov, as us dudes over here like to say.
Oh man. So
TV, you're up, bud.
Yeah, so I mean, we saw Aljo kind of greet you after the Davey Grant fight cage side. Was that your guys' first time meeting there? Is that how everything kind of linked up?
No, actually, he had I think he had already like looked me up before, because I think he was already going back and forth from Vegas to New York, and he saw me fight Gustavo, and pretty much like after that fight, like because I saw him after the fight. I was going back and rewatching the fight, and I was seeing the live tweets, and I saw Aljo saying some stuff, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." Like I'm getting acknowledgement from someone who like, no bullshit. Like way back in the day, whenever I was an amateur and I'd seen him fight, like it was before the Brian Caraway fight. I remember telling one of my training partners at the time, I was like, "Nah, that guy's gonna be champ. He's fucking good." And next you know, he fights Brian Caraway, and I'm like, well, what the fuck? But I was like, all right. But no, he rebounded from that, and like just to see how he bounced back and all that stuff. So that was pretty cool. And then just being able to see that, like the live tweets on the Gustavo fight and seeing that, I was like, oh, okay, respect. That's the guy respects what I do. He respects my skills and everything. And then a couple months later, I know that whole Yan shit, the fucking illegal knee, that bullshit illegal ass knee. And then it was like I think around August, September. Wait, no, it was in August. He hit me up and was like, it was like about a couple weeks after everything happened with my coach. So he just hit me up and was like, hey, I was like, like, would you mind being able to help me out with my training camp and just send me a schedule what he had? And I was like, all right, cool, yeah. Like, he's like, he said him and Ray Longo were talking, and they thought I was gonna be a good look for him for Jan. And I was like, all right, yeah, I'm 100%, I'm down. I'm down. I had some people tell me not to go because I was like, they're like, oh no, you might find him down in the future. I was like, well, I really don't. I really, like, bro, shit doesn't matter to me. I was like, we're all gonna punch each other in the face. If we can get paid off it, that's fine. But you know, I was like, man, I'm gonna go help him. Like, let me be a part of a champs camp, and like, let me see how that rolls, and just seeing how a champion carries himself during like the fights and everything, like how he is in fight camp.
Curious about.
So that was like my thing, because like that was like the biggest camp I've ever been a part of, other than like Chris Cyborg or Tito Ortiz camp. You know, back whenever I was like very fresh pro. I think I had like one pro fight, and I flew out to Cali to go like train and watch them live and all that stuff. But I officially saw like a champ camp.
Yeah,
you know,
I was really wondering what your biggest takeaway would be. Was it something technical that he showed you in the grappling, something like in the mental preparation that you saw, champ? Because you were part of this process, right, of him with the neck injury and then coming back to win not win the title because it was his, but like really shut the haters up. I mean, like even as I kind of trip over saying it Freudianly, like win the title when he had already won it. So,
it was a lot of shit, and it also kind of be like not to take myself so seriously, man, because like fuck, that was one thing that I really did. I just kept taking myself way too fucking serious, you know, and you know, like and whenever I was with him and like we'd have these talks and everything, and be like, man, like you know, this shit bother you and shit, and he was like, because some, like, I'm telling you, the shit that I seen on his Instagram, like his like DMs and like the post, man, he tagged me on something, just people just fucking just go in, just go hard, go in. Like, bro, a lot of people were racist, a lot of people were saying the N-word, so like the way that he acted after, like not the way he even acted, like the way he would like respond to all these guys and just be like, man, bro, I completely understood. You know, I was even talking to one of my training partners, like Cameron, and I was like, bro, I was like, hey, like, he's like, yeah, you know, like I'm not sure if I like him the way he goes about things. You know, I was like, bro, he's like, I don't know, I just don't know if I like.
He's like mild. He's actually mild when you really think about it.
Yeah, and I was like, bro, I was like, trust me, like, I was like, you don't see it, but like this guy was getting like the shit end of the stick on a lot of things. Like they were like calling him like, he was like, I was like, hey, the N-word. They were calling him monkey. They're doing this. They're being like super racist. And he was like, oh, word? I was like, yeah. He's like, I never really paid attention to any of that. And I was like, no, bro. Like, bro, like I was like, I remember seeing the comments and being like, God damn, like, bro, how have you not like fucking lost your mind right now? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, just, you know, take it, roll. I have thick skin. Don't take myself too seriously. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I took that. And then also too, man, like, live it up, man. Don't be like, because he'd be like, dude, like, don't be so like super strict with yourself where you're just hating fucking life. You know, have some fun. You know, this is what we do. It's like, why the fuck would you want to go back and be like, man, I remember that time I was so fucking miserable. He's like, nah, you go back and you want to have a good time. So it took a lot of things from him. And then just seeing how hard he worked, and just like, man, the man never fucking complained. So I was like, yeah, like I never complain either, but I was just seeing like someone on the champ status, like just being like, nah. Like, fuck, he goes with someone like Marab, and also too, like being able to see someone like Marab too, like after he fought Marlon Moraes, he came back home. He was like, I talked to him for a little bit. He's like, you know, he was drilling with somebody, and he's like, yeah, I got dizzy. I was like, yeah, bro, you shouldn't be doing shit. And then Ray Longo was like, hey, why don't you get on the treadmill, you know, and just like act like, just for fun, just for the fun, like just to put it out there and be like, oh, he's already working. And he records him. He's like 15 seconds, like, all right, you're done, Marab. Fucking Marab just kept running. Yeah. He ran a good old, like, he just kept running. He just didn't stop. So I was like, all right, shit, props, kudos. Like, they just wanted to do it for fun, but he just kept fucking going. So just being around those guys, like, just kind of like overall just was like, all right, like it solidified me that I'm doing something right, because like I was already going out my way to get out my comfort zone. That was my first time going somewhere by myself, you know, and all that stuff. Like, at least whenever I went to California, I had my coach, I had a couple of training partners. I just packed my bags, stayed in a completely place like that, because I didn't know Aljo at all. Like, that was the first time meeting him. And then after, that's whenever, like, after that week, you know, we kept in touch. We were like, cool. And then after that Davey fight, you know, went up to him, saw him, I was like, hey, what's up, brother? Cool. Then he flew me back out whenever that fight got rebooked, and I helped him out a lot more. And then I just seen the differences from that first camp to this camp was just like leaps and bounds way better than what he was. Because I'll say like this, that version, even though he felt better, that version of Aljo, I don't think would have gotten it done the way he did this time around. This time around, he was really, really good. And I still feel, even within that training camp, I feel he had another level to go too. Because bro, like he was killing it. He was a monster. The guy was in fucking shape. So
he was cool, so man. Shredded. That was so those pictures were literally viral for a reason. That was crazy.
He was fucking phenomenal.
And yeah, you kind of touched on it a bit, but I was really curious what exactly not taking yourself as seriously looked like for you. Is it coming on, fans podcasts and chatting it up? Like, I mean, obviously it is on some level, but what does that look like for you?
Man, he'd just be like, man, it's like not being so strict. Like, man, I would be counting everything, counting all my calories, counting all this shit, just like not having fun whatsoever. Like, even before I had a fight booked, like I was like stressed, like fucking just like going out there and just like eating as healthy as I could, not having a beer, not doing anything. He was like, Aljo was like, man, dude, look, you can have a beer. You don't have to. Yeah, it's true. Exactly. So like, yeah, I was like he was like, man, had a hard week. He's like, man, you can have one or two. You just can't overdo it. And he's like, just get something you really like. Just get something you really like, and you just really feel like it's good. It's good carbs. And I was like, all right. And he's like, yeah. And like I'm in a for sure fight camp right now, so I'm kind of like struggling. No, I shouldn't do it. But couple weeks ago, I was like, man, fuck it. Like I don't have a fight booked. Supposedly we're getting a fight booked, so I like have a beer or two and be like, oh shit, all right, cool. Take the edge off a little bit. I'm not so much stressed about this problem that I have. I don't know, it's a lot of bullshit. So it's like, hey, like I'm good to go. But so and then also it kind of helped me out just to like assess situations a lot more easier instead of just be like, oh, me. You're like, nah, whatever, bro. Like, hey, like I'm gonna figure this shit out one way or another.
That's awesome.
So it's all been good, man. I've been like again, man, I've been living life, man. The motto I've been living by.
That seriously is so important, and it's honestly something I preach in my everyday life as well. I was wondering, like, because honestly, like you said, you're about to be in training camp. You're in training camp. You treat, you're a strict guy. What does you're going to be talking about fighting nonstop? What do you do outside of fighting, not fighting related? What's your safety place, man?
My safety place, man. It's honestly getting like it's as weird as it is, and it's like it gets tiring for some reason. Is getting on the stream, man, streaming and just like interacting with people. It's pretty cool, man. Like it gets so cool because like now I have like, even though it's not super big, like it's nice, and for me it's like perfect size because like I can get to everybody immediately. I remember whenever Jens rated my channel on Twitch and it was just like overwhelming with how many people were coming in and getting into chat. I was like, I'm trying to keep up with everybody. What the fuck? But it is fun. It is fun like being able to chat and play with the homies and all that stuff, and just being able to have a good time, because I have a great time even if I'm losing, man. Like as long as I got interactive with chat, big shout out to Eamon because he's super interactive and he always talks shit, but I know but he does it just because like, man, like it adds an extra flavor. I love it because he's like, oh man, how are you gonna fumble today? How are you gonna fumble this time? Like, man, bro, like going back and forth.
What's your game?
Apex, man. I love Apex Legends. Apex Legends to me is just one of the most phenomenal games. It either goes super fast paced or it has like a slow pace, but even the slow pace is super fast. So I love it. And honestly, after that, like I'm just kind of like YouTubing like Marvel stuff and like Marvel, and then also, man, I'm watching fights. I'm like studying, and then also, man, like on the weekends, man, I'm just trying to be with my family because like my life is kind of just involved with fighting because I'm coaching these other guys as well while I'm training, and I had to go corner those guys. I had to wrap their hands. I had to like do a lot of these things, making sure that they're on point as well. And that's another thing that's kind of like holy shit, like these past couple of weeks that's been like, wow, what the fuck, like, and like But
yeah, balancing that responsibility and having the, the personal boundaries, like, listen, I need to do this for me, but at the same time wanting to be a good teammate and also wanting to get better through doing those kinds of things as well. It's a very tough balance, I'd imagine.
Oh yeah, it's these past couple weeks, man. I was actually talking to my training partner Cameron, and I was like, I talked to because it was like the fight week that everybody fought, and I already knew that the gym was like gonna be empty. There's gonna be nobody there, like, because man, I think we had like about 4 or 5 fighters fight that night, and just didn't go well for us. And I was like, oh man, like fuck. So I was like, I knew that, and plus the Fury fight on a Sunday, and it's just like, so I'm like, now my Sunday's fucked. Like I can't do. Yeah, they fight on a Sunday. I'm just like, man, what the fuck is this? Like, bro, like I don't get it, but I'm just like that. Like my Saturday is pretty much like we're doing what I can, just being with the family, and then the fight starts so early. Like I had to be there at 12. I had to be there at 12 just so like I can start wrapping the guys' hands who fight at 2. Then the main card starts at 4, and then I have a couple guys on the main card, and I can't leave until they fight. And yeah, it's just a lot of shit, man. I'm just like, yeah. And then so I go home, like after eating nothing for like from 12 all the way to like 8 o'clock, and I'm just like,
Pack
fuck,
a snack, man,
bro.
A little baby carrot, something,
bro. That day was just like I had a guy starting off the card, had a guy like 4 fights after him, then I had a guy 2 fights after him, and then I had a guy starting off the main card, then I had a guy being like the featured fight, and I was like, oh man, like this is like like I'm like, fuck. So it was a lot, and just being able to like, but I love it. As much as I'm like I'm talking shit right now, no, I really do love it. But I'm not gonna lie, that Monday morning, waking up with all my energy spent, my voice is just like so raspy from the yelling and shit. And then also that day, the UFC people were filming me for some stuff, that they're about to do. So I was like, all right, well,
that happens to me sometimes too.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was kind of all over the place. So it was just fuck. It was a lot. And then the next day, I had talked to one of my training partners' coaches, like, because he switched over from straight Muay Thai, jumping over into MMA, and we've been helping him out with MMA and all that stuff. And he recently, like, his Muay Thai gym just recently, like, I'd say about 4 or 5 months ago, got Eve Edwards as a coach, as that's like awesome. Their MMA coach. So
that's huge.
I was able to talk to so his Muay Thai coach is there, and Eve Edwards is there. So Michael Chase Corley is his Muay Thai coach, and Eve Edwards was there. And I remember just talking to his Muay Thai coach, being like, "Hey, like, can we start working together? I need this extra work because like I'm running everything for the guys, and I just kind of need the oversight. I need someone like because." I don't want to get sloppy. Hey, I just see the shirt. I just barely noticed that. Holy crap! I just seen the shirt. I love it. Thank you.
We gotta get it
signed. Oh yeah, we also got the Dr. Pepper going on. We're all prepared. All prepared for you, man. Yeah. Listen, man, we've been following, and like, dude, it's just been great to like see your progression and like how much you're willing to reach out and how good of a guy you are just overall in the community and even with your opponents, like. All I see is respect all around. And like, so as an ultimate question here, related to the show in 2 ways, do you gamble yourself at all? And 2, do you ever dabble in the chronic ever?
My guess is no on the chronic.
So I do gamble, but it's like I stopped betting big because, like, well,
what do you consider big? Everybody has got a different number.
Man, I got a couple hundred. A couple hundred. Nice. I started doing chump change compared to what
people go crazy. We're not those guys.
Dude, yeah, I go $20, $20, $10, and then if I have the since I go to my bookie, I'm pretty much just like if I got a free play, I get the $10 play, I'll add that shit to my parlay and be like, all right, cool, let me double up. And then also too like the being able to do blackjack on my bookie has been fucking phenomenal for me because I got hooked on it this last time around. I was in Vegas, sitting at the table, winning money, losing money, and then I got on roulette, win money, lose money, and then I came out minus 150. And I remember being like, oh fuck, I don't ever want to do this again. But then I'm back on my bookie doing blackjack.
Yes, we love it.
But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
no, man, fuck the chronic, man, dude. I'm telling you right now, I don't have the lungs for it. I don't have the lungs for
That's
it. Like
fair.
You got the cardio, bro. What you mean?
Yeah.
Let's
nah, man. Like it's crazy.
Well, maybe that's why
like,
he's got the cardio.
there you go.
No, so I was actually talking to someone not too long ago, and they were like, "Yeah, no, like it does not like for them. It was like not that they were just like, man, it was just like I guess like they're so used to doing it that it didn't affect their like cardio. They're just like you're like, yeah, no, I just don't overdo it. I don't go like,
right,
no, it's just small things here and there, and then not getting too big. I just need that little thing to take off the edge, and I'm like, oh, okay. But me, man, I do the little shit to take me off the edge, and like since I'm like so like, I'd be like, oh, yeah, so I'd be pretty fucked. So at least on my end, like I'm like, yeah, no, that's too much for me. But the times that I've done it is definitely kind of just been like yeah, my throat immediately is like, oh fuck. Like, I'll cough for a whole 5 minutes before I'm good. Like my face will be red, but like
gotta cough to get off, man.
Bro, yeah.
Oh man. Seriously, I could honestly, I wish we could grab a beer. Like I would, only one. But I could talk to you like all night, man. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Do you want to do the main event? Do you want to do like whatever you want to do?
Yeah, nah, just let y'all take away.
Let me know when you tap, bro. You tap out and you let me know. And let everybody know.
I know y'all had Nate on here and y'all pulling that card on me. So I'm like, hey.
Well, we also, there's obligations in life, but listen, we got some stats here too to help out with our picks and everything as we pull them up here.
Oh shit.
So, yeah, we're official here at Chronic Combat Conversations. Make sure you're following Yanez at Yanez MMA on Twitter.
Yeah, before we end the interview, actually, do you want to throw out just a couple sponsors, man? Anybody you're trying to shout out?
Man, honestly, my biggest sponsor, Drink HRW. Like actually I got a couple big sponsors, but Drink HRW has been man, dude, they got this they got the recovery, they got this drink that you just throw the little tablets in, they dissolve, and like it to me, man, like since I drink so much water, that just to be able to add that little flavor, the rejuvenation, that shit, I don't know if it's just like placebo or whatever the fuck it is. Like it's like it helps me. I feel so recovered, so like dude, it might be placebo, it might be bullshit, but dude.
Drink HRW. What is it?
Drink HRW. Yeah. Oh man, actually, fuck. Let me pull that bitch up, bro. Cause
yeah, do that.
It fucking
drink.
It's fucking phenomenal.
So it's a tablet you put into like I'll put it in my big ass jug of water.
It pretty much makes it into hydrogen water.
Okay.
And it's like, and it has magnesium in it, and bro, I'm telling you, it like I said, it might be
them
placebo.
Alkalines up, them electrolytes.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro, it's fucking
we're scientists out here. Come on.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing. Like, yeah. So, man,
shout out them for real.
Yeah, they sent me a whole bunch of stuff. They even sent me tablets that I can throw in the water, like and do like in my tub and do like a Epsom salt bath type of deal.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Bro,
full range of products out here.
Super helpful, man. They even got like a whole bunch of supplement products and everything. So this shit's dope as fuck.
And then also looking to get into the podcast business, we'd love to have them. So
and also so I partnered up with this soap company called Dukes Up, Dukes Up Official, and they were able to make my own scent and everything and have like my own own little
dang, there he is,
heavy hitter bar soap. I had a flex, had a slight flex on that one, but
there you go. Love it.
No,
I need one of those. How do I get one? I need it.
Man,
but I need it signed by you.
Oh man,
because I'm not gonna rub it.
I'm telling you, they literally just had this giveaway on Instagram. On Instagram, I signed like about 25 of those boxes, and they're like, yeah, because people were asking for them so much that you'd be able to win like a signed box. And I think right now they're actually doing a giveaway for my fight in Austin. I think they're giving away 2 tickets. So if you go to their Instagram, you might be able to win 2 tickets on for my fight in Austin. I think you might be able to win some soap. So 100% like go follow them. Dukes Up Official. Dukes Up Official on Instagram. Hit them up. Like go buy the bar soap. Man, they support fighters. And actually, what's pretty crazy is that like, the reason why he wanted to put fighters on there, like, because it's not just me. Like there's like 5 other fighters. So it's like two boxers and another amateur MMA fighter and another. So it's Micah White, I believe, and then the other MMA fighter is Kyra Martinez, and then I'm about to butcher. I'm gonna butcher the.
Let's go.
Well, I'm butchering
Slaughter
up the boxers, man. But like I know their Instagram. I know like their Instagrams and all that stuff. But like fuck, it's they like every single box that's sold under their name, under their whoever buys their box, they get a percentage of it.
That's awesome.
So like they're really helping support the fighters. So I think that's super dope. And they're like just I remember just talking to him, he's like, nah, bro, like I want to make sure that they get paid. I want to make sure, like, man, if I have a small contribution to it, like I would be so happy just to be able to help somebody. So like I respected it. And then also what's really cool about this, and I was talking to him, I was like, man, what made you choose soap? And he was like, well, I have dry skin and then like all the soap. And he was like, he even made it like customized, like you can pick which soap you want, because on the side, I don't know if you see it right here, it actually tells you like, hey, if you're more dry, oily, if you're more in the middle, like there's stuff that you can actually like
options.
So like on my bar,
honestly, but guy, and you know what, I like that you're talking about that, because I feel like there's like a stigma around guys caring about their skin. But like, hey, if Adrian Yanez, UFC fighter, cares about his skin, I think you should.
I'm telling you right now, I have a little bit of a drier skin. I don't really have oily skin, but I do have more drier skin. So like even just using my bar of soap, because this is meant for dry skin, like super dry skin. So man, it's been helping me out. I love it. And you know what? Like, yeah, it fucking feels. I'm telling you, I love it. Like I love it. Like man, I literally have like boxes of my shit. So I'm ready to go.
I'd imagine you have a bunch.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So listen, guys, make sure drink HRW. Make sure you're getting your soap air with the
Adrian Yanez's
Dukes up, baby.
Official, bro.
What I really want though is I want them to whittle the soap to look like your face. So I'm
that's
you all
that's the like I was like, oh man, I'm like I wonder if like, because I was like just overthinking it, and I was like, man, maybe they're doing this, and then like I open it up and it's just a bar of soap, and I was like, I was like, oh man, they did the box so nice. It was like, but they couldn't carve my face in it. Damn it.
Right. Yeah, that would have been awesome. But also a little weird.
Nah, I gave one to my strength and conditioning coach, and they were already starting to make fun. I was like, oh, so you're gonna rub them all over you and everything. I was like, oh, don't be weird about this shit.
You have to make it weird. You have your own soap. You're not fuck the shoe, fuck the gloves. We're going with your own soap. I love it.
Let's go, baby. So now, hey, we're getting into. We got our main event here. We got Jan Blachowicz versus Aleksandar Rakic, and yeah, it's pretty interesting. You see your former champ Jan Blachowicz at plus 165 and Rakic minus 195. I mean, yeah, Rakic is really running away on the line here. You know, I feel like there's not a lot of respect coming in on the Blachowicz side, but I do kind of understand where that idea is coming from. If you go by experience or just the grappling, Jan's got all of that, but Rakic, he's 9 years younger, going to have a bit of a height advantage. He's also going to have a bit of an athleticism advantage, it seems. The question is, you look at their striking stats and kind of how they fight overall, and they're both really good defensively. I think Blachowicz has a lot more volume overall, whereas, Rakic is actually, a little bit safer in his approach. So here, I mean, can Jan check the leg kicks of Rakic and kind of keep it a boxing matchup, or can Jan land those body kicks and really disrupt Rakic's cardio? I'm interested to see Rakic go 5 rounds for his first time here, and Blachowicz, he should have an opportunity to keep it close. I just see it, whether Rakic is able to get the takedown game working here with a little bit of control, even if it's up against the cage. I just think he's going to have a bit of a strength advantage here, and even though Jan's got all the experience, it's making me get real curious that the line keeps sliding, but we got a little something here, right, Guru?
We certainly do. We have a bet at what did we get Rakic at? We got him at minus 170.
Yes, minus
So
170.
we played 3.4 to win 2 units on that. And at the end of the day, we felt that, especially at minus 170, when you really look at it, right, before Jan's big title run, he was an underdog to Corey Anderson, and more sizably than he is now to Aleksandar Rakic, who I think is Rakic, who is a much better. I have such a mental block with that. Who's a much better fighter, honestly, than I mean, close to at least than Corey Anderson, at least than he showed at that fight. What you wonder with Jan is the Polish power gonna rear its head again? Because how does he win a fight against Alexander, who's I mean just been nothing but I mean, other than the quote unquote loss to Volkan Ozdemir, which I don't think he lost at all in my opinion. I mean the head kick of Jimmy Manawa is one for the ages. Beat the snot out of Anthony Smith, and you know, in a fight with Thiago Santos where maybe you don't win too many fans, you know, he didn't risk anything and he dominated that fight pretty soundly, and at least in my opinion. And then you look at you look at these stats that we have so beautifully laid out, and the places where, you know, Alexander's maybe a little bit more deficient is right. What is that? You got 1.1 takedown to 0.75. It's fairly negligible. I honestly think a lot of this fight is in the striking realm, and Alexander tends to push things into the clinch. And when was the last time Jan was outsized? Right? You saw him defend his title against Israel Adesanya, and he took the fight to the ground later on in that fight to help neutralize Izzy, and then gets beat on the ground by a savage and Glover Teixeira, who's going to be defending his belt next month. I ultimately think that Jan won't push the pace hard enough and threaten Rocket, who, you know, has just shown supreme striking defense and just safety, almost annoyingly so. But he's a true prospect. He's a rocket on the rise, and I think he's going to earn himself a shot versus Jiri or Glover here. Without further ado, Adrian, what do you got, my man?
Man, honestly, you laid it out pretty perfectly to me, and no. So I'm actually going with Rocket as well, man, because dude, he's the up and comer. Like, I know it's weird to say because he's at 30, he's the up and comer, and he's like that prospect. And I'm just kind of like, well, he's kind of solidified himself after like he had some really good solid wins. You know, he can make this boring or he can make it super exciting. It's completely up to him, and I think Jan kind of has that one switch. He kind of just either goes forward or goes backwards, and I feel like Alexander Rocket would be able to, you know, move around a little bit more efficiently. And you know that, and you know, just kind of just after like seeing him kind of fight Izzy, you know, the reach was a little bit different. So like in the striking, I felt like it was a little bit more of the same. They evened each other out, but he's not gonna. I don't feel like he'll be able to bully someone like Rockets to the ground. Like, just be able to work on hard on the inside of the clinch and try to get the takedowns and all that stuff. Because I feel like in that Izzy fight, he was able to use his size very, very, very well, and I don't think he'll be able to do that to Rockets. And you know, because to me, that guy's pretty solid 205er who can easily, like, I feel he can compete at heavyweight, but you know, it is what it is. But I think Rocket gets the win. Let's just hope that he doesn't fade out in the last 2 rounds.
Yes.
With someone who has like experience in a 5-round fight. So
Yeah,
that's kind of where I'm like a little iffy, but yeah, I think the prospect gets it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, have we even seen Rocket in trouble with cardio? Like, I'm not sure that he was tired at the end of his 3-round fight with Thiago Santos or Anthony Smith. I didn't necessarily sense that. You know, I'd love to ask him. You know,
Oh yeah. Well, it's also kind of one of those things. Whenever you're like kind of dominating or not doing as much, it's kind of easier to reserve your gas tank.
Of course,
it's super easy. Like whenever you're the one dominating, the guy in the bottom that's getting his ass beat is kind of just like, oh fuck, he's the one breathing heavy. So that's the kind of takeaway I get from it. So like when you got someone like Jan who's been there and is able to push past that little barrier of the 5th round, because needless to say, like I've only had 1 5-round fight, and that was in my LFA that I turned on. Like it was like I won I won round 1. I felt like I won round 1, but
Split
2 and 3
decision.
I lost, and then I felt like I won 4 and 5. But that's the switch that hit. I was able to like bump into another switch and go.
Was that
even though
that adrenaline? Where did that come from?
it was just I don't know. I think it was just like whenever you're running, you get that second wind. That's exactly how it felt. And
Interesting.
Okay.
you know, so it just depends on how Jan is able to deal with all that stuff, and like if that it does play a factor in his game, like, oh wait, maybe if I just keep attempting to clinch and avoid a lot of the strikes that Rakic is throwing, just try to wear him down. Because man, over time, man, you got a guy who easily probably weighs over 225 in that cage, starts trying to wrap you and starts like trying to grab the overhooks and just drop his weight, dude, and you're trying to keep him up from not taking the takedown, it's going to wear out your arm. So it just kind of depends on what type of strategy Blachowicz has. Is he going to strike with the guy, or is he going to try to make it dirty and work in the clinch and tire him out that way? And then
it's actually kind of funny, because I really think that would be the way that Rakic is going to win this fight, is by laying on him in the clinch and tiring him out. Because if you look back at who Jan's fought, right? Like we kind of were saying, he got tired out in the clinch by Glover, right? Other than that, Izzy not doing that to him. Dom Reyes not doing that to him. Not the game plan. Corey Anderson was happy to trade leather with him and was telegraphing takedowns from a mile out. It was really suspect. And then before that, it's Jacare Souza, my dog. But, you know, that's towards that back end of his career. And he knocks out Luke Rockhold in one of the most vicious things you'll ever see. But again, what's Luke Rockhold doing? He's a kickboxer. He's not trying to grind on you in the clinch.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm very, very curious. You know, that's actually interesting. Jan's now 39.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you know, he's kind of only been in the limelight, so to speak, to the casual fans for a little while. But the dude is, you know, rapidly approaching 40.
Also had some neck issues that he was talking about. Like he was paralyzed for a short period on the left side of his body. Yeah, a couple months ago. And then he got back into training after doing some like physical therapy and stuff. Like it just makes me a little nervous at all, like to want to play him against the guy that I know is coming in. And like, I mean, Rakic also has that boxing that is like, you see like defensively his numbers, he absorbs 1.59 per minute at distance. I mean, and Jan has some elite numbers when it comes to striking as well. And we saw him kind of outpace Izzy even from distance. But
his distance defense is actually higher for Jan, slightly, 62 to 59.
Right. But just like the total absorbed per minute, it seems like Rakic is able to like at least maintain a little bit better pace. He has the quickness to evade the big shots, except against Devin Clark that one time. That's the one time he's been knocked down in the UFC, but he responded with the spinning back fist knockout himself. So I trust Rakic to get it done here. I liked it at -170. You better catch it before it gets like past -200, because it gets real sketchy there.
Not to be like that, I literally had texted TB as we move on to the next fight. I had texted TB earlier in the week, and I'm like, dude, we got to get Rakic before he hits 200, because I don't want it then, because that's not cute. It's not very sexy at all. You know, that's 60% number is not as much fun.
Jeez.
Yeah, so now we got our next one here. We got Ryan Spann versus Iwan Kute, the Hulk.
Superman Spann.
Yes, Superman Spann versus the Hulk, Kute. This one
well, that's actually funny. That's two superheroes. That's so
right. We got Marvel versus
DC. We got it. Let's go.
Oh, you know what? All right, so we know you're Dr. Pepper over Reese's, but are you Marvel or are you DC?
Movie, like the Marvel
Movies,
Cinematic
comics,
Universe.
answer, you need to answer, my
movie
brother.
Cinematic Universe, of course, hands down Marvel.
Oh, yeah,
I would have to say for sure. Like, I think the Injustice comic run is just by far one of the best. And like, I think it, like the story arc, everything. So just that alone, I feel like it beats over the actual comics of like Marvel. So that's probably my only play. But also I do like, I don't knock any of the Marvel any of the Marvel comic books at all.
Course.
But the Injustice series to me is just so phenomenal and a nice take on actual Superman and Batman and all that stuff. So I love it.
Hell yeah.
I love that. Thanks so much for answering, man. I really appreciate that. What's going
So
on here?
now we got our UFC superhero matchup here.
Yes, we do.
Ryan Spann's got a pretty big size advantage, 4 inches height, 4 inches reach. He's also got a big irresponsibility advantage when it comes to like getting into these striking wars. Like,
Which is wait, can we stop right there? Which is like a crazy thing to say, because when you talk about Iwan Cutelaba, like, he's not exactly known for his fight IQ. So if you want to say that Ryan Spann maybe is more reckless than that, like, holy macaroni.
Well, yeah, that's where it. I mean, I feel like I want to give Cutelaba a little bit of a break, because like Ankalaev, like that's just a whole different animal, and to get knocked out by him, like I totally understand. Also, to get subbed by Misha Serkinov and get subbed by Glover Teixeira, I mean, you can excuse that also.
Yeah.
His only other UFC loss is to Jared Cannonier as he made his transition down to 185. So I really think the guys that you've seen Iwan Cutelaba lose to have really been top shelf when he's run into them. So you see Ryan Spann. I mean, we were all over the Anthony Smith side in that fight. It's the round one submission, but it's really because he gets hurt on the feet to get to that position. Ryan Spann is just, and he talked about it actually at the media day today, that he's always getting in his own way. He needs to be like, you know, he's his own worst enemy. He's always getting ahead of himself. And like, you know, he's like, it's always the same thing in all of my losses. So I'm curious if that's enough here, but I feel like the Hulk, between the way he gets in your face at like the face off, and I'm not sure how much that plays into it when it comes down to the fight, but I mean, like, there's a lot of adrenaline there, right? And then when you get in there, I mean, Cutelaba, he likes trying to get into a fight before the fight starts in the octagon. When he runs in, it's like he plays a lot of mind games. So, you know, Ryan Spann, he's probably going to get lulled into a bit of a firefight here. And whether it's on the feet or, I mean, you look at Iwan Cutelaba, over 4 takedowns at 60% accuracy. I mean, that's one of the most elite numbers as far as wrestling goes. It's such a big sample size. He's got 27 takedowns on 45 attempts. I mean, the biggest question is, does he gas out? But I mean, at minus 220 for Cutelaba and plus 180 for Spann, I like Cutelaba as a parlay piece.
I honestly, you know, I love the discourse. If I could disagree with you, I currently do not disagree with you. I really do like Iwan Cutelaba here. He had a great fight last fight against Devin Clark, who, you know, is kind of up and down in the UFC in his own right, but always put on a good fight. I mean, again, talk about toughness. You fighters are fucking savages. His teeth are knocked out. He's jumbling them around. He's like, he's looking into the corner. What do we do? You know what? I'm going to the dentist anyway, right? Let's get back out there. I'm sorry. What? Like, that's fucking nuts. And again, to go out there round 3 against not just some guy, right? Not TB, not me, right? You're going out there against Iwan Cutelaba. That guy hits so hard, if nothing else. So, you know, that I wonder what Ryan Spann is gonna bring to this fight that Cutelaba hasn't seen already, right? Like, you've seen the vicious striker that's bigger than him with Ankalaev, and he fights fearlessly and fights to the, you know, not terribly. I think better than Ryan Spann would show, bless you, in that type of position. So, and similarly, I think a Ryan Spann Devin Clark fight would be, you know, interestingly lined, closely lined, where I think Devin Clark would probably be the favorite. So, I like Iwan Cutelaba here, and I don't know, Adrian, you feel any differently?
Man, dude, I don't ever want to go against a Texas guy ever. Like, I hate it. Like, I absolutely hate it, man. But it's just kind of one of those things for me that, like, I think this was it's just fuck. I don't ever want to go against the Texas guys, but like, if you're making me put money on it, yeah, I'd have to go against the Texas guy on this one, man. Just because just you know, every single, like, anytime that Ryan Spann is spot, you kind of get that little bit of a chinny experience, and I feel like Iwan Cutelaba has that one shot power. And you got someone who's kind of a little bit like been showing like the not the greatest of chins as of late. So it's just kind of just like it doesn't make for the greatest thing. And then also, I feel like every loss that Ryan Spann has taken has just been pretty much him in his own head. Just kind of it just never ends up going well. And then whenever he does get into like a fight, I feel like he tires out pretty. Like it's a decisive drop off. Like his
that
first
Alvey
round,
fight was so bad.
yeah, like it was like, yeah, this is pretty much the fight that I was referring to. Like his first round is definitely not as good as his second round. Then his second round is definitely not as good as his third. It just kind of goes. It's a significant drop. So I look at stuff like that, and then you got someone who, like Ian Kodalaba, I don't think he's going to stop pressuring forward, and he's just going to try to knock you out every single time. And then if he gets you to the ground, he's laying some hammers on you. So, to me, I would have to go against. I had to go with Kodalaba. I hate going against the Texas fighter. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I seen Ryan Spann fight in the regional circuit. I remember being in the crowd whenever he subbed a guy, and just being like, damn, that guy's gonna be in the UFC one day, and fucking he was there. I was like, shit, I don't want to go against that guy. So, but the fact that we're putting money, yeah.
So I like Kodalaba straight up, like we discussed. But as TB pulls up the next fight, if we were looking at it from a prop standpoint, there's literally I don't think there's any value on Kodalaba by KO at the moment at minus 135. But I honestly think, and one of our mantras on the show is fade the narrative, because a lot of times these narratives get built, and we talk about Ian Kodalaba, right? And he gets this narrative as a knockout guy, but then we look at his last two fights and they've gone the distance. And I maybe wonder if Ryan Spann can maybe hold it together, if he wouldn't consider taking a stab, throwing some light pocket change on Ian Kodalaba by decision at plus 750 at the moment.
It's just that chin really.
Of course, very sketchy.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I think about laying even like a half a unit, when I think about laying anything legitimate on even Ian and over 1.5, you immediately get sketched out by the chin. But if Ryan Spann can keep it at a distance, or Kodalaba comes in a little bit, I don't want to say tentative, but just more ready to conserve his energy, a little bit more mature, I don't know. A little bit of grandma's arm cushion money, right? On Kodalaba, it's a plus 750. Never hurt anybody.
Thank you.
Dude, not only is Adrian sharp, man, he's got the sharp boxing too. So
thank you.
He's keeping it good. What do we got next? We got, oh my goodness.
This is the last one, and I got a dip, but this is the perfect one to go out on.
Yes. So in that case, I'll tee it up real quick, but we'll let Adrian take away the analysis here, because I mean, who better? We got Davey Grant versus Luis Smoka. And I mean, this is the division right here. We're talking the 135, and Davey Grant in his last time out here faced off against no other than our guy here, Adrian Yanez. So then right here, this matchup, you got Davey Grant right now. I mean, he opened up as a little bit less of a favorite, like a minus 270. But I mean, the line has moved all the way down now, because we're looking at like a minus 300. So before this thing goes completely away, Adrian, what's your takeaway on this fight, man?
I think the bookies know exactly what they're doing. Like putting them at a minus 300. Yeah, for sure. To me, I feel like that's very right. Luis Smoka got kind of smoked in his last fight. He fought Vince Morales, and then the person who trains with Vince Morales, Davey Grant, and Davey Grant has heavy fucking hands. Like, holy shit. Like, he got me one in the throat, and my voice still hasn't recovered. Wow. Like, I can't make high-pitched voices anymore. I can't do any of that shit. Like, it just cracks. It just stops. I can't do it anymore. So I can't do my woos anymore or anything like that. It sucks.
Can you give us an attempt at one?
Oh, no, my baby's asleep, bro.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, can't disturb.
I didn't even think about that. I'm so stupid.
Yeah.
So you know what though, is like I was landing a lot of clean shots on him and everything, and there's a couple of times where like I know whenever I hit him and there was a head snap, and I think he actually, from November to now, I feel like that was a good amount of time for him to get rested up. And then, Smoka, to me, I think the last time he fought, didn't he fight he fought in Houston, and he got kind of like, he looked like, don't get me wrong, he looked really good against someone like Vince Morales, but kind of, you
I
can
think he
look
was a
good as
favorite
long
in
as
that
you want.
fight.
Yeah, he was doing good for as long as he did, but then the chin gets popped, and
Yeah, that
but
was his first loss by knockout too. The other losses, even though he'd been lost by finish, it was submission.
well, I know he's gotten dropped a couple times in his
Yeah.
fights before, so it's kind of just like one of those, like, yeah, how much does that take a toll overall? I do like Smoke, and I do like his actual style because his technique is very good. Just the fact of like one of those things that, like, man, you get popped in the chin once, like, it's almost like a Czech Congo type of thing. He was so good with his striking, it was so good, but
Yeah.
the second it got touched, out. It was weird,
Mhm.
like, because you hated to see that, and I feel like Luis Smoke is just on that right now. And then Davey Grant, like I said, man, he could hit you on the top of the head, and your feet are gonna feel it. So, yeah, like I really do like Davey Grant in this fight, and it's just different too, because like I remember just even just being in the cage with him and just seeing the punches come, like, they're not the same punches that you see, like, technique every single fucking day, like, oh, the jab, the straights, the hooks, man. Even the hooks didn't even come like regular hooks; they came from like way back. And then he's very active. He senses the lull in the action. He's like, no, break it, break the action, break the action, break the action. So little small moments in the fights, he'll break action, so there's this brief pause. He's like, oh no, I can't let this. I got to do something. And like I sense that in the fight, and it was just kind of like, oh, that's what made the fight a little bit tougher. It's just like, I thought there was a pause, there was no pause, or like whenever there's like something going on, he exploded into something. It was always kind of a weird explosion because it was just, you don't see it coming.
I was gonna ask you about his explosions, because when I was watching tape on him again, he starts in like whatever an orthodox stance, and as he's kind of walking forward, he will step forward into southpaw and then strike from there. Like, he sets up walking combinations. It was really strange, and I was wondering if that's something you maybe knew about going in, or kind of picked up as you walked in there.
So yeah, like, actually, man, I'm going back to my training partner, Cameron. He does a lot. He loves film study. I don't know
That was
what
the
it
other
is
thing
about
I
him.
was gonna ask you too, if you do your own film study. So
He loves film study. So like, I let him go crazy on it, and I watch film. Like, I watch it whenever I'm running. I get on a treadmill. If I'm running on a treadmill, I pop a fight on. And I just watch it while I'm running and just see, like, gets my mind off of running, just because, man, fuck it, fuck running. But like just watching and seeing, and you can kind of see, like, whenever he would take those steps, like, it was kind of like, it was always he covered so much distance. So even if you feel like you got out the way, you were still in range for him to throw something. And it was just it was weird because I had to take some time to adjust. And every single time I felt like I was out the way, he was still there. And I was like, all right. But luckily for me, in my training camp, like, I had, like, my training partner Cameron, like, we literally drilled a lot of this stuff in his switch, like, because what he would do is actually not even, sometimes he would just switch his stance, so you would think he would be automatically trying to close the distance, but he would just switch just to switch and get you thinking.
Yeah.
So luckily I was able to catch a lot of that stuff and just be able to counter. And like, the biggest thing was, every single time he stopped, I had to answer back with something. I couldn't
you did.
Yeah.
Dude, when you duck and you hit him with, oh my God, the sound of your counters smacking him in the face, like it's like it's like a baseball off a baseball. It was just vicious, and he eats them. He just eats them. Boom, boom. Nom. Give me more.
I remember in the first round, after, like, I actually had to switch, like, the intent I was throwing my punches on with him, because there was two shots I hit him with. There was he threw the leg kick and I punched. And I remember seeing his eyes for a second. They almost, like, it was like a blink. It was like that. I saw his eyes, like, oh fuck, I gotta go for it. Gotta go for the kill. And then next thing you know, he throws a hook. I duck underneath it, catch him again. And then I saw his eyes clear as day. And I was like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah,
And that was my
unreal.
chance. That was my chance, but he just snapped out of it really quickly. I was like, all right,
Wow.
he's gonna be able to take the shots. So I ended up like switching it to being not power heavy, but just touch heavy. Like I just wanted to so I like because usually
Yeah, you definitely saw
whenever
that
I
shift
like
in your second and third round there.
I just went from like trying to hit him with hard shots to just touch. And I'm gonna set up a hard shot, but like nothing was like extremely over like me, like I want to knock him out with every shot. It was just like, no, staying technical, using my jab and hit him whenever he misses. Yeah.
What the fuck was Tony Weeks smoking?
Yeah, he was
What?
in Vegas smoking that good shit.
No, he was smoking the bad shit. No. I don't know what he was smoking. That was fucking.
Nah, he was on his phone texting everybody else, being like, "Hey, when's these fights over?"
30-27.
What's
the
going on?
other direction. That was unbelievable.
He was actually texting the other judges asking if how's that T-Bud Sean Porter fight going. He's like, I'd rather be there.
You must have mixed up like the glove colors with the corner, like he didn't know what he was watching. It was unreal,
I tried to when I went to rewatch the fight again. I wanted to go in. I tried to be completely unbiased. Listen, I'll be straight up. We bet some money on you. We're happy to cash. That's a pretty easy ticket to cash on these days. But I'm like, all right, you know what? Let me rewatch this fight. Because like I scored all 3 rounds for you. I'm like, this guy's whooping it. And then when it was a split, I'm like, what are they talking about? So I rewatched. I'm totally open to it. And like, and again, I would tell you at this point, because I think we're homies, maybe round 2. But bro, I swear, I really thought like 30-27. You kind of like you're landing the more damage that's in like to end the fight. Yeah, he wasn't even landing more than you. It was very similar output. Like. I don't see it.
And yeah, I was here's the thing is that there's like I felt like the damage that I was doing was a lot more. I felt like I was landing
look at his face.
Yeah,
It was
like
so fucked.
And it was just kind of just one of those weird things that I was just like, man, like I told my training partner, I was like, hey, be 100% honest. He's like, what happened? Like, what do you think of the fight? Even asked Aljo, and Aljo was like, nah, like it's split. Like, dude, that 30-27 the other way is fucking bullshit. I was like, all right. I asked my training partner Cameron, which if you don't know Cameron, like he's up front, super, super honest, and he doesn't sugarcoat anything. He's like, the second round shaky, but second round was shaky, but I think he got 1 and 3 for sure. So whenever I heard split, I immediately turned because I'm telling you, I've been on the
dude. Your face. You thought like the whole time you didn't even care about anything else. You're like, wait. Go. Can we rewind? Did they just say you like? I was watching it today. You're like,
I heard 30-27, and I was just like, what the fuck? No, like, yeah, no, like I instantly got mad, and I was just like, oh no, I'm like in my head, I was just kind of just like, I'm getting fucked. I was like, my ear's fucked up, and I'm getting fucked. What the fuck's going on? So I was like, man, so. Yeah, it was going through that point in time where I was just like, this is so many emotions were going on that time because everything had just happened. But bro, like, it was so fucking the 30-27 going the other way was, dude. Even look at Davey Grant's face whenever he hears the 30-27 for him.
Yeah,
that's how you know how crazy that is. That's how you know how
somebody gave the RDA Felder fight to Felder. Like they're smoking dust. It's wild. Yeah, really, really wild.
Oh yeah, but yeah, kind of going back to this fight. My bad.
No, not at all.
Going back to this fight, I definitely am leaning heavy on Grant. I would 100% try to get him now, and at least maybe if you want to book him in a parlay with Ian Kute, kind of make those odds a little bit better for yourself. And, I definitely do think, honestly, I think he gets the finish. So if you would want to bet, he gets a knockout, like I would 100% say like, hey, this fight isn't going to the distance.
Knockout at plus 100 at the moment.
I'll take it.
Yeah. And listen, man, because you're our buddy now and everything, we'll cut to the chase here. We got him in a 7-unit parlay. We got Davey Grant with a guy on the first fight of the card. I mean, we might as well spoil it now because we want to share. We know you're a busy guy. It's going to be with Nick Maximov. So
then we got what were the lines we got them at, and where are they posted at now? So we got Davey Grant at what?
Davey Grant minus 275. He's currently minus 300, and we got Nick Maximov. I think it was like a minus 400, which was kind of crazy, but now he's a minus 380. But it's tough to say where the line was going to go because the money's been coming in, coming out. So we just had to make sure we didn't miss out on the Grant line. But you actually kind of get around even odds because Maximov slid back a little bit now. So a little Maximov parlayed with Davey Grant, and we're going heavy. We got it at minus 140. Whatever you guys can get it at now, I mean, that's something that I feel comfortable up to like minus 180, minus 200, even as a parlay. I just think that both guys have their clear path to victory and their opponents are, susceptible to those paths.
Yeah, I mean, the only trouble for Davey, I would think, would be a submission, which, where Smoka would want to win. But, you got to hurt Davey to get there because the dude's a fucking animal. And I don't think Smoka can do that.
And I'll say like this, Davey's ground game is like, that guy gets like, ever since he kind of like started becoming that stand-up knockout artist guy, people have forgot about his fucking jiu-jitsu. It's fucking good. It's fucking good. Bro, Cheeto Vera makes people look fucking sloppy on the ground, man. He was having trouble getting in certain positions with Davey. So it's like, hey, look at that exchange. It was like kind of getting really bloody, so it's kind of hard to be in certain positions. So like, hey, bro, his shit's real. His shit's fucking good. So 100%.
Cheeto, one of our better bets of late.
Yeah, and I love those greasy submission props. Davey Grant by sub is plus 700. You realize he's got 8 sub wins and 3 knockout wins. So more than double of his career wins are by submission than by knockout. I mean, that's a pretty juicy line.
It was in regional MMA. It's interesting. He hasn't gotten one at the UFC level yet. It would be interesting to see him get one here at the UFC level. I think if he does get it, I think it comes in kind of a cheeky way where it's kind of a club and so he really hurts him, drops him, gets on top, and then
I like that.
maybe does something dirty.
All right, well, hey,
I hate to let you go, Adrian, man. Thanks so much, man. Get to your girl, man. Thanks so freaking much for being here.
Truly a blessing.
I mean, anytime you want to come back, gracious with your time. You're about to blow up, so like, don't forget us when you get to the big times, the bigger times, man, because they're coming. I can smell it for you.
Man, thank y'all so much for having me on, man. It was an honor. It was a pleasure, man. Thank y'all so much, man.
A true Southern gentleman.
And you take care, man. Have a good one. All right.
And he's got
it. All right.
Wow.
So what an incredible time.
Let's take a breath on that. What a nice freaking guy, man. Giving us an hour of his time. Seriously, thanks so much, Adrian.
Let's just tell you, like, that is way more time than was expected. So
yeah, 100%.
Just to highlight how good of a guy Adrian Yanez is and how generous and just down to earth and a man of the people. Can't highlight that enough. And we'll make sure to clip up those little sponsor highlights we did because we got to help out the guy if he helped.
We'll clip up the interview itself as well as a
definitely
video.
Definitely.
But listen, let's get down to these fights now. Shout out Adrian. Thanks so much, man. Holy fuck.
Listen,
I went out of my way, Adrian. I went out of my way to show you that I was gonna try Flamin' Hot Cheetos. I was gonna talk shit about it. We talked about so much more important stuff. I didn't get to whatever. Next time.
Oh my god, I was holding up my Dr. Pepper. That was the moment right there. I'm surprised you missed it, my girl.
Yeah, I did. It's all good.
I mean, we already spoiled what our play is gonna be, but that's fine because our big play, but that's okay because we want the people to know what's going on. So just make sure Davey Grant. Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, listen, Chronic Combat's coming at you firing, super hot right now. We got some plays coming off the presses. So Davey Grant, make sure he's going to be the first leg of our parlay out here. So make sure you people are following. We're getting down to our next one here.
The nitty gritty.
And we got another bet coming up, huh? So right now we got Kellen Chukagian. The line is minus 180 versus Amanda Hibosh at plus 155. This one, I just don't see how it ends up looking.
Whoa. Can you address that right? My wife, Amanda Hibosh.
Yeah.
Put some respect on the name.
In a wishful setting because let's be serious here. Yeah.
Everybody's wife at this point. She became. Listen, I was a big fan before she was, as popular. I forgot which pay-per-view fight she went on, but now she's like, I was like following her at like whatever 400,000 followers or some shit. Now she's like 1.5 million. It's nuts.
Yeah, listen, Rogue.
She's become a UFC sweetheart for real.
Yeah, there you go. I agree. LOL, bro. Like, we get it. You know, cool story. You were there from the beginning. You know.
Boom roasted.
Anywho, but yeah, I mean, we got a super interesting matchup because Hibash is stepping up here to the title shot gatekeeper, Katlyn Chookagian herself at 125. Last time Amanda Hibash fought at 125, do you remember what happened? It was on Fight Island against Mahino Rodriguez and Shabayam, and Herb Dean just left her in such a dangerous position. Yeah, he was like, you know what? I wasn't sure. Let's do it one more time.
One more time.
So you also pair that with the fact that she had Polyana Viana also had a little knockout of Hibash back in 2015. So this isn't like a one-time thing. Also, back in her last fight against Vina Jandiroba, you see Amanda Hibash
clipped a little bit.
Like a little clippy at the end of the first round there.
Little rocky.
Yeah, that's so that gives her like nearly a 2% knockdown per distance absorbed. So really the question is like, she spent 57% of her fight time at distance and 32% of her fight time in control. Katlyn Chookagian, she's going to have a 5-inch height advantage, 2-inch reach advantage, 5-inch leg reach advantage, which is significant with all the leg kicks and the front kicks and the ha and all the, you know, all the noises that we get as she's throwing out all her volume. And I mean, it's like, we're talking, she lands, you know, technically Hibash lands more volume right now when you look at like just the numbers out here, but you have
a little skewed, no?
Yeah, that's a little skewed. And Chookagian, like, it's just I just see, you know, she's been in the small cage, she's been in the big cage, she's been with a crowd, she's been without a crowd, she's
really
fought,
done, especially lately.
Val, she's fought, you know, all the contenders possibly available, and like the only ones that have really been able to like put a stamp on their fight with her, it's been like Andrade, like the people that are able
Valentina.
to like. Yeah, and Valentina. So it's like the ones that have really been able to put a stamp physically on the fight. And I think Hibash coming up weight, I think there's going to be a sizable disadvantage. And I mean, yeah, minus 180. The line is slipping. So you want to get in on this before it's too late. But that's where like, okay, so like, I mean, is the plus 450 Chookagian knockout? Or is it? Yeah. I mean, is it the Chookagian classic decision at plus 110? Probably.
I'm actually very unsure how much the line is gonna slip. You know, in my head, it slips to minus 200, but I just think that this week specifically, there's gonna be so much play on the dog here. She is younger, right? And I think that sometimes that kind of thing plays
that's fair
into people's heads a little too often. Yeah, I'm not sure how Hibash gets inside. I'm not sure how she implements her game plan, which, right, we all think is to get a submission, right? She's not trying to out kickbox Katlyn Chookagian on the feet, one of the best point fighters in the division, right? Unless she's going to clip her with a knockout, and she's only been knocked out, like we said, by Jessica Andrade, which is more like body, and she was out of there, and Valentina, who put her in a crucifix, like, geez Louise. So, yeah, I'm not really sure where Hibash, you know, gets it done in terms of any other way other than submission. And then we look at Chookagian, who's, you know, grapples with Sarah Longo. You know, she's legit jiu-jitsu. She doesn't use it because she's, you know, world-class kickboxer, you know, Wonder Boy keeping range. But, like, yeah, she's not going to get subbed easily. You know, I know that when I was watching the Araujo fight, you know, there was like that she tapped. Joe Rogan was like bugging out, and he kind of even admits to like, yeah, everybody likes a good fake tap story. Like it wasn't even fucking close to a fake tap with that kind of narrative in there. Yeah, was she in a precarious position for about a minute and a half? Yeah, like it was dominant for Araujo. Every single judge gave her that round, and she won, you know, mostly 30-27 with 129-28. I like Chook here to keep it at range and outpoint her to decision, even if she loses a round.
Yeah, I just think consistently for Hibash to be able to close the distance with the footwork at Chukagian is just not really viable. And she's only landing 2 takedowns, even on a 47% accuracy. But you look at like the level of competition that she's done it against, like Hibash, most of her takedowns, one, it's like Mackenzie Dern who accepts the takedowns. Also, that was her first fight back after having birth. And like, welcome back. You fight Mackenzie Dern who can actually stifle your jujitsu. Also fights where she had like some takedowns and stuff. It's like Emily Whitmire, okay, that makes sense. Paige Van Zandt, okay, that makes sense. Brandon Marcos, okay, that makes sense. But like Fina Janjiroba, you didn't really see the takedowns really happen in that fight. In
Yeah,
fact,
you
see
you watched the
Jandiroba landed.
jujitsu negate itself, and they stayed on the feet.
Exactly. So in this fight, I just think if Hibash does try to force the grappling, I think Chukagian's footwork and length is even greater than that of Marina Rodriguez. It's just her knockout power isn't quite there. I mean, watch Chukagian surprise us this one time and actually catch something, but like that's not what I'm gonna bet here. So, but listen, Chukagian, we took -170. If you go to our Bet MMA, you follow us on Bet MMA because that's where you're gonna get our early plays. We're gonna start doing a little better job of posting them out on Twitter and Instagram and stuff, so that way it's a little easier to follow everything. But BetMMA is like the third-party tracking service. So, but we just want you guys to know, like, listen, we want to be accountable. These are what our plays are, like, but we want you to watch the show. Like, join us, have a good time. We have awesome guests every week. We had Adrian Yanez this week. We got plenty. What is it? We got some more fun people coming on.
Yeah,
We
next
had
week we got our guy.
I mean,
we got our guy Prodigy MMA next week.
yeah, I mean, shit. There's always going to be some good bets, some good conversation. Hope you guys keep on joining us and make sure you give a little subscribe to our channel, throw a like on the video. It's always appreciated. And we hope you guys just, maybe leave a little comment in the section here. We love you guys in the chat. Rogue, we got Daz. All you guys always coming out.
A ton of guys, seriously. A ton
Yeah,
of
look at
y'all.
that. I mean, Rogue knows what's good. Prodigy
Rogue's
is his
chilling.
guy also. Is killer. Hell yeah. I hope you guys are following Chronic Combat. That's what we do. So let's keep this train rolling here. We got Frank.
Honestly, that's like I think it's at least 8 straight weeks with a guest. And I mean like no fluffers in there. Clint from Die Hard, Manpreet from Lock in the Night. Like, I mean, I don't want to like toot our own horn a little bit, but like we don't miss over here at Chronic Combat Conversations.
We're making sure that we want our audience to get the best that there is. So like, listen, we're not claiming to be the best gamblers on the history of Earth, but like we want to make sure that we're discussing the fights as deep as it can go. And listen, like we hope you guys are getting
we're
some
all
good knowledge.
we're all learning together. We're willing to admit our mistakes. Long-term profitability. You're not interested in those 3 things, this show's not for you. And you know what? I respect that. But anybody else, welcome aboard.
Hell yeah. So now we got Frank the Crank Camacho versus Manuel El Loco Torres. This one's gonna be El Loco.
Do I try these?
Go for it, Guru. Why don't you give those flaming hot Cheetos a little try over there? You went through all the effort and energy.
Bro, they're so red. They're puffed instead of crunchy.
You're probably gonna shit.
I don't know how Adrian. Yeah, I don't know how Adrian feels about
Yeah.
I had so many questions to ask him. I could talk to him all night.
All right. Anyways, so this fight, I mean, this one is just gonna be a barn burner.
Yeah, puffed is really good. But I'm a more puffed cheese doodle fan. Are you puffed or crunchy, TB? We're best buds. I don't even know if you're puffed or crunchy and cheese doodle fan.
I do like puffs.
But no, are you puffed or crunchy? Like one or the other. You couldn't have another cheese doodle the other way. Bro, they're so red.
I would say give me puffed.
Me too. I'm a puffed guy too, but I feel like that's a unorthodox pick. Wow, those are actually kind of spicy. And I like spicy. That's actually really good. I really wanted to shit on Adrian for liking these, but that's actually good.
This is what you get, live reviews as far as like the food critic here, the guru himself.
Yeah, but I need to try the crunchy ones because I feel like they're not dead.
Rogue was a crunchy guy. Doesn't need them anymore. Don't blame you. Trying to cut.
Yeah, it's terrible for you.
Out,
How big this is.
So yeah, I mean,
listen.
Talk about terrible for you, Frank Camacho. If he was to get knocked out again, that'd be pretty terrible for him. Manuel Torres. They got 5 knockouts, 6 submissions in his career, and they're all coming pretty early. He's got 1 decision victory, and his 2 losses have come by submission. It's just like Frank Camacho. I don't really think he's going for the submissions. But I mean, like Camacho's lost by knockout 5 times. He's lost by sub twice, decision 3 times. He doesn't mind losing any which way. So it's like I just don't see how, even with the experience of Camacho and kind of like the sketchiness of how Torres even won his Contender Series fight, they kind of just ignored everything that happened there.
Come on with that. Come on. It was this like the curvature of his glove. And you know what? Again, I wanted to talk to Adrian about this fight specifically. Shout out Adrian, because he actually knew the guy well that fought Manuel Torres in the Dana White Contender Series fight, introduced him on his walkout. Wanted to bring that up. It is I'm very Manuel Torres won in a very impressive way. Do not get me wrong. You look at his wins, right? The win that got him before the Dana White Contender Series, 25-second guillotine choke. The fight before that, a 1-minute rear naked choke. Before that, he loses by a 1-23-second knee bar. He gets submitted. And then before that, you know, is a win that Tapology isn't telling me how you won. Before that, he got heel hooked in less than a minute. Before that, he got a rear naked choke in 2 minutes in the first round. And then finally, before that, we're 2018. He's got a split decision win against Enrique Gonzalez, whoever that may be. Point being, this guy seems to be round 1, kill or be killed. And then after that, I don't fucking know. And neither do you. So that's kind of the point. Frank Camacho, on the other hand, right, knocked out in less than a minute by Justin James. Really sketchy. Gets submitted in 2 minutes. That's a year before, or I guess, a year before that, he's got a fight with Beneil Dariush, which now when you think about that, that's like kind of fucking insane. He gets submitted in 2 minutes by Beneil. And then, he gets a win over Nick Hine, who I love UFC. I really am not exactly sure who that is. Before that, his losses are to Jeff Neal, Drew Dober, a win over Damian Brown, split decision, and a loss in his debut to Jingling Liang.
Li Jingliang.
Li Jingliang. Thank you. I got a fucking tongue twister. My point is who the fuck did this guy piss off that his losses are Li Jingliang, Drew Dober, Jeff Neal, and Beneil Dariush? What the fuck? That's nuts. That's an insane level of talent. And yes, the loss to Justin James is really, truly concerning. However, if he can survive the round 1 storm of this Dana White Contender Series young guy in his debut here, there is a chance that Frank Camacho, a sizable underdog, can pull this shit out. Ow, again. Why do I keep doing that? There's no excuse. Don't know why. Anyway, I think that there's a possibility, there's a world where Frank Camacho survives this first round and maybe, gets a decision similar to like the Journey Newsom style, where you're the veteran and you've kind of got the shit end of the stick and people are kind of down on you and you're able to turn up against a Dana White Contender Series prospect.
All right. I mean, I really don't have like a serious interest in this fight, but I will say if I was making a straight pick here, which you follow our Tapologies if you want to know all of our straight picks, I'm going to take Frank Camacho. So,
what about, I just out of curiosity, round
Wait.
hold on a second. Matt, wait. So the only thought I have, right? So Manuel Torres for me at round 1 plus 300, I think that's fairly interesting, right? Otherwise, Manuel Torres. Wait, what? Skirt. Manuel Torres by submission plus 450.
I just don't. Like none of any of it can happen, and I wouldn't be surprised. That tells me I don't want to bet it.
You know what? Screw you guys. I'm going home.
Jake Hadley versus Alan Nacimento as Guru goes home and leaves us for good. This is everything I've ever dreamed of here on Chronic Combat Conversations. So as Guru continues his life journey to continue what's going on, we got Jake Hadley versus Alan Nacimento. Oh, look who's back.
I need a Miller Lite.
Sorry for being
And
so dramatic, guys. At least Rogue is entertained here. Thanks for the
I
follow on
appreciate
Bet MMA, my dog Rogue Strummer. Gotta love that. Shout
Appreciate
out. We got
I
Hadley
wasn't actually mad, by the way.
No, I know. Yeah, I guess for the people, that's
Yeah,
all back to
people
Curtin
may
here.
not know me as well. I'm super sarcastic.
We got Jake Hadley versus Alan Nacimento. Hadley minus 220, Nacimento plus 180. And you kind of saw Jake Hadley, like the theme after Dana White Contender Series was that he was evil.
Yeah, I mean, he had that reputation, right? So he missed weight, which was super interesting. He missed weight by a pound. He had visa issues. And then there's the whole rumors that are not really rumors, kind of founded to be true, that I guess he was a dick, an asshole, a douchebag.
Yeah, he kind of like
to the
acknowledged that,
UFC staff at the Apex. Like, I don't even know exactly what that entails.
I mean, Dana shouted it out.
I hope it's not like he wanted pizza instead of like the chicken salad shit. You remember hearing about that?
No.
Oh my God, you don't know. I wanted you to know. I'll have to pull it up. Maybe somebody knows. There was like it was the USFL. He like cut the dude from the football team because he asked the staff for pizza at lunch. Anyway. Jake Hadley, Cage Warriors featherweight flyweight champion, right? He was also in Bellator as well, 1-0 in Bellator, 2-0 in Cage Warriors, 1-0 in Dana White Contender Series, beat an unbelievable, and I really do mean that, an unbelievable prospect in Mitch Raposo. Was on Tough Season 29, had a tough run there, lost to the guy that ended up winning the show. Then he goes out and he loses this fight to Jake Hadley, and his chance to maybe redeem himself off of Tough, unfortunate for Mitch Raposo, has now won 2 fights outside of the UFC, has a third one booked. I think he's going to win that one too, honestly. And I think you're going to see Mitch Raposo soon in the UFC. Long story short, that's a really good fucking win. And then you look at Cage Warriors, right? That's no scrub of a promotion. That's one of the premier. It is the premier promotion in the UK. One of the premier promotions in the world. And I love that level of competition when you're fighting guys that, this is not Alaska FC, man. When you're fighting guys that are legit, it means a lot. And then on the other side of that coin, right, you see Alan Nacimento, man, doesn't exactly train with scrubs either, taking flicks with the champ, Charles do Bronx Oliveira, out there training with him majorly. His UFC debut was certainly a difficult outing, a split decision loss to Tagir Ulanbekov. I didn't really see how you could score that fight for Alan Nacimento. I mean,
he's dangerous.
It is. He's dangerous.
He was dangerous.
Yes, he's constantly threatening off the back. However, he's not kicking off with the hips. He's not scrambling to get up. You see somebody with a willingness to lay on their back and play the jiu-jitsu game. Okay, we can make note of that, but when you look at Jake Hadley, that's his bread and butter, man.
Bread and butter.
But he's not somebody like we talk about that, like Mackenzie Dern, who is not hurting you on the feet, is not engaging you in a real fight to earn that submission. Jake Hadley doesn't give a fuck. That guy is striking, coming forward, walking you down. And if you rock him, you hurt him, great. Good luck. He then immediately shoots for a takedown. What I saw from his top control was extremely dominant. He's position over submission while still getting the submission. It's exactly what you want to see. I think this is one of those fights that could maybe be closer on the line.
Ooh.
But also Jake Hadley could come out and embarrass him if Alan plays the wrong game. yeah, you can't be that impressed. It's again, similarly, it's tough to be impressed with Nacimento. I couldn't find the tape. If anybody could send it to me, that'd be great. I couldn't find his last fight outside of the UFC against Elevado Lima on Puna de Aco 6. Like, what the? I couldn't find that fight. And
You
before
couldn't
that,
find that one?
I couldn't find that one. And then before that, he's got 4 fights canceled in a row since his Dana White Contender Series loss to Ryan Paiva, who, again, like a UFC Fight Pass, isn't posting season 1 and 2 of fucking Dana White Contender Series. So I could barely find that fight. I had to look at MMA Core. Shout out to them. Whatever. Nothing inspiring there in a split decision loss. So very sketchy resume. Not sure what to make of it. Too accepting of guard. He's not presenting anything that Jake Hadley hasn't seen. Jake Hadley wins this fight.
Oh, okay. All right. Pretty confident. Honestly, I don't.
You're a hater. He's like,
I'm a hater.
TB has this thing with, like, and I get it, with people that are you can move on to the next fight. With people that are assholes, like, and I get it, but sometimes, like, and you'll hear it maybe in a later fight, like, the next fight. Like, when he has a bias against somebody specific based on a personality thing, it's kind of hard to let go. And at least in this next case scenario, I more understand it than the former.
All right, you listen. You know what's got me all man, all exasperated out here. We're trying to find some fun words to describe it. We got Viviane Araújo versus Andrea Lee.
There's 2 J's in there.
Yeah.
Araújo.
I'm an
athlete.
I'm a Jew though. So I think that's what we were getting to here. Is that looking at Andrea Lee's past is where it gets really sketchy.
That you're a Jew though?
It's really sketchy, man. I mean, you see, she's basically defending her husband's Nazi tattoos and apologizing, and then like 2 months later, it's like there is a very bad domestic situation, and thankfully it seems like she's moved on from that relationship, and now it's like with Tony Kelly. Tony Kelly are the next opponent of our boy Adrian Yanez. So I'm just very curious, like, what kind of leanings Tony Kelly has, given Adrian Lee's interest being a Nazi, or at least being associated with Nazis. So anyways, now that we got that off the table, we can get down to breaking down this fight. And it's kind of crazy. I didn't expect Viviane Araújo to be 35 years old. And maybe that's
holy shit, she's 35?
And maybe
wait, Andrea Lee's 33.
Yeah, exactly. So, but we've seen Andrea Lee actually fight 3 rounds and like keep a pace. Like Araújo, after like a round and a half, it's just like any sort of extended grappling or like being pushed back in striking exchanges. I mean, we saw it against Montana De La Rosa. We saw it against Katlyn Chookagian. We saw it against Jessica Ai. She just completely gasses out. Her stuffing takedowns, not so big a deal. But when she goes for it, she's in top control. She's squeezing. She's going for position. She's trying to pass. Araújo has a real tough time with the cardio. So I really and now the line is slid. I mean, Araújo was the favorite as the opener. Now she's plus 100 and it's starting to be like,
that's so fucking interesting.
Like, could it be? But at the same time, like, Andrea Lee, you look at all the statistical data here. I mean, like, she should have some sort of advantage in the stand-up, but Araújo should have her covered in the grappling. And like Andrea Lee's stats of who she did it against in the grappling, I mean, come on. I mean, the names are
Antina Shevchenko,
the bad
Roxanne
Shevchenko,
Modafferi, Joanne Wood, Montana De La Rosa.
Like, those are the people that she wrestled, you're saying?
Yeah, so I wrote this down because it was something interesting. So in her last, she has went for at least 3 takedowns in her last 5 of her 6 fights, going in that time span of these last 6 fights, going 11 of 19 so that's a 57% takedown accuracy over those fights. And I say 5 of the last 6 because she didn't attempt any versus Calvillo, who she pieced up on the feet pretty much the entire time. But back to kind of the scouting of Andrea in that point is Andrea still has a fucking bloody nose while fighting Calvillo, who she's absolutely piecing up on the feet. You know, Rogue Strummer, you said it perfectly. He's like, yeah, this is a super tough fight to call. Exactly. So if you do your regular picks, circle who you think is the winner and keep your money really, really tight in your fucking pockets.
Yeah,
Because
it was actually
there's no reason to bet it.
Chukagian actually pulled away late and kind of got the
Right,
decisive
100.
decision.
So straight
as
up,
round three
I
went on.
needed to re-see that because I thought it was 30-27 watching live, probably a little sauced up. Rewatching, right? Like it's a close round one that Araujo really kind of wins, and Chuk really pulls away. But again, Chuk is in a, I think is in a tough position with a little bit for the grappling there, and then gets out, shrimps away. We've kind of talked about it in the other fight when we were scouting for Chuk, and then ends up Araujo is completely gassed after 2 minutes of grappling with Chukagian, and she doesn't get the submission. So unless she's knocking out Andrea Lee, which hasn't happened yet in the UFC, I lean the Andrea Lee side to pull away. However, I think it's going to be a sketchy decision. So why not reach into grandma's couch and throw a little something on the split decision? Because
oh man, you were thinking the same thing as me here. This fight, we were talking about it. That's why. Okay,
no, we didn't. We didn't say that to each other. I don't think.
I thought we did talk about it. I was going to say,
so.
how did we both have the same idea? But
there's a couple fights I think on this.
But yeah, this fight to be split or majority decision plus 400, perfect opportunity. I mean, this fight. The question is, at what point does Araujo gas out in round 2, and who looks like they won that round? Because you're probably getting Araujo round 1, you're probably getting Lee round 3, and the question is, what's going on in the middle? And I mean, the fight goes the distance. There's probably still value at minus 250. I think I'd take that.
Yeah, 100%. And again, I'm also super interested to see weigh-ins and face-offs, especially in these lighter female divisions. And when you're getting plus money on either girl by decision, which we definitely think that it's gonna go the distance, right? So again, you're taking a stab. God forbid grandma just passed and you just got a huge inheritance and you don't really care. Throw a couple shekels on either fighter by decision. I would think.
Yeah. So now we're on to our next fight here, and you talk about fights that you want nothing to do with. You got Michael Johnson at minus 150, Alan Patrick at plus 130. These are both
19
guys
wait, hold up. 19 and 17. That is just like a beautifully disgusting record. Oh my God. Right. But like, again, Michael Johnson, to highlight some of the best wins and some of the best losses. Like, he's one of those guys that in the gym, given that we've all seen the footage, given the work to Kamaru Usman, but then comes out there and loses to like Stevie Ray.
Clay Guida is
Clay Guida
in our last matchup. Like, it's just, how could you trust Michael Johnson's minus 150? How could you trust? I don't care how old his opponent is. I don't care whatever you got. Alan Patrick actually has 3.2 takedowns per 15 at a 36% rate. That means he's shooting over like 7 takedowns per 15. I mean, Michael Johnson, I know he's got a 78% defense, but I mean, he's been controlled almost 22% of his fight time. So if there was any sort of path for Patrick, who's got 40% control in his career, I mean, that's the way it would go. And maybe Michael Johnson can like piece him up the same way he was piecing up, Mason Jones was taking care of Alan Patrick. It's just like Michael Johnson is not shown to have that type of cardio, fight IQ, trustability, anything. And nothing. Patrick, I mean, plus 130 probably isn't enough to trust him either. So fuck that. I mean, fuck this fight.
100%. So, but the cool thing about this fight is, while fuck this fight 100,000%, I'm so excited to fucking watch it. I can't wait. I really can't.
Yes,
I love the fight.
Right,
I want to see it happen. I want to see it go down. No, I know I am right. So Alan Patrick crazy spinning back fist, blitzing forward, constantly rushing forward, stupidly no fight IQ. But on the same side, you look at Michael Johnson. There's no fight IQ. You're wondering what he's doing. He's got no gas tank. He snatches. Listen to this. He snatches defeat out of the jaws of victory. He finds a way to lose fights. It's a problem. Alan Patrick, with his constant unorthodox swinging, not following the rule books. Oh, this fight's not going the distance. I think that's an interesting call. With Alan Patrick's constant swinging and moving forward, being crazy, he always puts himself in fucked up positions to get finished, which gives Michael Johnson a chance. However, Michael Johnson never capitalizes on the opportunities he should. And let's just be real. Let's call a spade a spade. Alan Patrick has fucking heart for days. I know we talk about fighters having heart. It's one of those cliche things. Alan Patrick, heart for days. And let's be real. Michael Johnson, if he struggles anywhere, like we've been alluding to this whole fucking time, it's the mental game. So somebody with heart for somebody with no heart, with a chance to win, with no thanks. No thanks. I'm probably similarly. I'm waiting for weigh-ins and face-offs, circling my winner based on the judo, the vibes that I feel. Probably leaning away from Michael Johnson because fuck it, and there's not a single bet to be played.
No touching. No touching.
Anybody watch Arrested Development? No touching. No touching.
No touching. So we got our next one.
There's always money in the banana stand.
We got Vina Jandiroba versus Angela Hill. We got Grappler versus Striker Delight. What's going to happen? What's going to play out? What's going to win out here? I mean, you look statistically, I think there's a little bit of a blueprint of what to expect here. I mean, Jandiroba, she doesn't really have a size advantage.
Let's be honest. That's my real wife.
She's 4 years younger. That is definitely Guru's real wife. And you look at the stats and like statistically, Hill does everything you want to see from distance. So and on tape, I mean, especially against someone like Jandiroba, I don't see her striking really working out against someone like Hill. I don't see her dropping her like she did against Shibash. Now, the thing is also Hill. The question is what happens if Jandiroba is able to close the distance and start to get this in the grappling realm. So, Guru, what do you think happens?
No, and I was wondering because the kind of way that you teed it up made me feel like I maybe influenced you at least a little bit, which makes me feel good. Like, I don't see it for Virna here. Like, yeah, she's the favorite. That's like already the red flag to me. This fight should be way closer to Pick'em. Angela Hill, an absolute 19 UFC fights. She's fought everyone. Split decision loss to Amanda Lemos, who, by the way, we just capped that fight. I thought Angela Hill won. Amanda Lemos gets fucking standing triangle choked in under 2 minutes. Like, come on. Unanimous decision loss to Tisha Torres. Tisha's changed her game tremendously. Win over Ashley Yoder, needed to dominate more. Split decision loss to Watterson, closest could be. Split decision loss to Claudia Gadelha. Possibly pretty much won that fight when Claudia Gadelha gassed out after the midway through that second round. Super close fucking fight. Okay, so we've seen the path. The writing's on the wall. Angela Hill, she gives it's too close, right? Who finishes Angela Hill? You can answer for me verbally.
So there have been 2 submissions. One was Carlos Barza and one was Rose Namajunas.
And wait, was it? Is one's
one was on the Ultimate Fighter.
No, you got it the other way.
The other one was Random Marcos.
Random Marcos, Rose Namajunas, and Carlos Barza. 2014, 2015. That armbar in 2019 is a little bit egregious. I don't really like that. But before it sounds like I put my foot in my mouth, which I almost did, even though 2019's 3 years ago, how many fights since Random Marcos? Are you ready for this? Angela Hill time is not like other people time. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
9. She's had 10. This is her 11th fight since then. She is fucking insane. Yes, it's recent in normal years. It is not recent in Angela Hill time. That's fucking crazy. So
That is-
she has not been submitted in if any fighter is lucky, they have that long of a UFC career. She's done that in 3 years.
Yeah, I think athletically, she was always kind of there. It's now the technique has started to catch up. So
Yes.
she's really learned a
started
lot
late.
in the jiu-jitsu game because her striking was always ahead coming from the Muay Thai background. But now she's starting to really catch up, being out at Syndicate, having all these great training partners in the grappling. I think it's really been like a boon to her game that, you know, and I will agree, you know, Rogue, you do got a point here. She hasn't fought anyone with Vina's jiu-jitsu level.
Very
I
true.
just don't trust Vina's wrestling.
How is she getting
and
there?
athleticism
Yes.
to get to the wrestling aspect, but one takedown, and yeah, it's not even close. Vina's a high-level black belt. If the takedown happens, it happens early, and Hill isn't able to get a scramble butterfly hooks in like she's been able to do recently, then she's in
Angela
big
Hill,
time trouble.
It's so important. Virna Jandiroba is, while she's known for, look at her control time. She has 12% control time in her. It's got there. Sorry, she's got 24% control time in her UFC fights to Angela Hill's 12%. Right, opponent control time. Angela Hill's only, and again in 19 UFC fights, only given up 16% opponent control time. She's not spending much time on the ground. She's very aggressive in shrimping and getting up to her feet. What would Virna Jandiroba's game plan have been against Amanda Hebos in her last fight? Right, let's think about that. You're right. You're going to try to. Virna's game plan was to try to knock her out on the feet. It was. Yeah, no, but seriously, was that her game plan? Is that what you saw in the fight?
No.
Not what it should have been, because maybe
Right.
we think we see a hole in Hebos's chin. What was her game plan going into that fight? What did she show you? It was that she needs to try to get to the fight to the ground to get her submission working, and it never really materialized.
Yeah, but Hibosh is also like a high-level black belt herself.
100%.
I just think,
my point is the cardio of Virna has been suspect for a minute. Angela Hill should throw at 5.57 strikes a minute, should throw enough activity while being the longer fighter to keep her and more experienced fighter to keep her at range. And unless you can take Angela Hill down, who's got the 78% takedown defense, you know, you're going to have to control her there, which again, you know, 16% opponent control rate. All these numbers continue to back this up over 19 fights. You know, very, very tough. So, yeah, but that's the point. Do you want to bet on somebody that's, you don't want to bet on either of these fighters because they're both one-trick ponies. It's Virna by submission or Hill by decision. So, honestly, that makes me kind of wonder what those lines are with the finish only or decision only on DraftKings. DraftKings has fight line, finish only. See, that's what I'm saying. They've lined it like I do. Finish only, Virna is minus 360, and decision only, though that's interesting. Decision only, Angela Hill plus 105. The only problem with is Angela Hill loves to cough up that split decision. So maybe this is the fight to bet the split decision prop on as well.
See, I think it's going to be clear whoever gets their game plan.
You really do think so? Interesting.
I do. So I think if anything, like Jandiroba needs that submission, and if she's not able to get the submission, I don't think she's going to have that extended control time, because that means I think she didn't get to those positions. Because I think if she does, she should be able to get the finish here. But
wow, I don't.
Oh, that's why,
what was her last submission? What was her last submission win?
She had a submission wins over Mallory Martin.
Not in the UFC anymore.
Felice Herrig. And then she
fighting her way to get back to the UFC.
She snapped Kanako Murata's arm with an armbar attempt, and then Murata landed
very tiny Muay Thai striker in the wrong division.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, that's been all of her victories is using her grappling. She's got 13 career submission wins. One was a knockout, but that knockout was
Okay,
her
okay.
getting
All
an
right, but
armbar.
again, but to my point, the line for the fight to go the distance is -200. So the bookies are saying overwhelmingly this fight's going the distance, and your jiu-jitsu chick is not getting the finish you want her to.
Right, right. It's just if you're gonna look at what finishes Hill has had in her career, I know we talked about how long ago they were, but 3 of them were submissions, and if there was
So
a
then why not
type of
Vera?
finish that Vina gets, so yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're gonna
So
talk about fading narrative, if you got Vina
by
decision was
sub
at
at
like
plus
plus,
275.
but yeah, exactly, because her decision line is like plus 170, but the sub is plus
I
275.
think it's I just think it's dog or
Yeah.
pass.
Yeah, exactly. So that's ultimately where I come. I'm gonna have like a smaller play on
That was
Hill.
a fun fight to
Straight
debate.
up. Yeah, definitely. I like getting a little back and forth. And Rogue likes Verna, looking to bounce back. Not super confident. Hill is good, but plus 350 is definitely value because
Yeah,
that sub
I
there
I
is
appreciate that a
a
lot, Rogue.
solid chance.
And I
we love
appreciate the
you
last
blowing
time
up
I
the
debated
chat
with
here.
you. I was on somebody that definitely lost the last time we kind of, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna remember that. I definitely lost the last time we talked about that. So I appreciate
All
you
right.
still being here.
So now we got Tatsuro Taira versus Carlos Candelario. We're back again. Keep it short and sweet on this end. Taira, we saw him on the regional scene. Dez showing up, my dog. What
My
a guy.
dog. Desi, appreciate you, dog. Miss you, man.
Yeah, hell yeah. The dude. So we got Tatsuro Taira. He seemed to be legit as far as like when you just watch a guy from distance, the shifting movement with the feet in and out. He was very comfortable moving around on the outside, had a good sense of like feints with his movement, 1-2s, solid combos, decent power, hurting people. But then when you start seeing like his wrestling and submission offense, you're like, wow, this guy really does know what he's doing. When he jumps on the back, it's smooth as hell. He goes for the body triangle. He's slick. It's quick. Like you can tell he's comfortable and he really grew up with it. And yeah, like it makes me really confident that, Carlos Candelario with his really suspect wrestling defense that we've seen, continually out here on Contender Series. It's just not something that you want to bank on him having a good fight out here against a guy. It looks like they're trying to set up Taira as the prospect. Candelario had to pull
100%.
out. Looked like a tough weight cut. Was very late.
Looked like a tough weight cut. He was the last one to weigh in when other people had missed weight that day.
Yeah, and ultimately sick. Fight gets called off, and now he's
Sick.
got to cut weight again.
I was sick.
Short
Fight
notice,
day.
so,
I was sick. But we can book it 2 weeks from now.
So
he's gonna have to cut weight again.
But we got him parlayed. We got -240 on Taira, and we did it with Iwan Kute Laba. We got a +106, 2 units. That's up on Bet MMA. We've got our other Ketlin Chukagian, 3.4 units to win 2. We got Aleksandar Rakic, 3.4 units to win 2. And then we're Guru, why don't you give us your closing thoughts on this fight? Because we got one more leg to our parlay to close out here.
On the Tatsuro Taira fight?
Yeah. Do you got any closing thoughts on that fight?
Yeah, no, 100%. Listen, you got Candelario, right? Who's like, listen, you want to hear the real extensive breakdown because it was a much bigger play that week. It's from the podcast from 2 weeks ago. When they were actually originally supposed to fight, we had a huge 5-unit bet on him. The fight gets canceled that day. We scramble. We decide to put it on Andre Fili. Andre Fili gets knocked out in 45 seconds because he's a fucking dickhead. No, listen, Andre Fili's a fucking awesome guy and a savage fighter. We had talked about the fact that Brito would be live in that round 1. When you're not in the octagon for a year, I'm sure it's difficult. And he really wasn't slept. He really was just kind of
circle the horses, Guru.
I just wanted to circle back. Anyway, Taira, man, should be better pretty much everywhere. Like you'd said, they're setting him up for a dub, in my opinion. It's just kind of tough when you're fighting somebody like Candelario who's got some decent experience as well. I'm happy not to have 5 units on him this week like we had, but I feel very confident in our parlay, and I think he's gonna win. And I think with my FOMO, I'll be like, well, why didn't we play him for 5 units again? So,
well, I think we found a way to play him to still win 2 units just with another leg instead of having to risk the 5.
Right.
So I think either way, I feel a little more comfortable, especially making that second weight cut to 125 within 2 weeks. 22-year-olds, he should be fine, but there's a few more variables this time around. So I'm definitely willing to take a little less exposure and a little more risk in a parlay aspect. But we're actually we love our parlays here on Chronic Combat. We know you
Yes,
people
we
love
do.
following them too.
And let's finish up and let's cap this last. We already kind of released where we are on the fight, so let's just get to it with Nick Maximov, undefeated, 8-0, and I believe his third UFC fight now, taking on Andre Petrosky, awesome dude, another tough 29 contestant. Was one of the favorites in that on that card, not on that card, on that show. Drogstrom agreeing with me. That makes me feel good. Yeah, let's keep cashing those tickets. Agreed. Yeah, Maximov out of the training with the Diaz brothers, and Andre Petrosky out of Philly. You know, I don't know if he was a CFFC guy, but I ran into him at a CFFC event. Good friends with Sean Brady and all those Philly guys. I think he's from the area. So
yeah, well, then you see Nicholas Maximov has really shown like. Man, he's showing the fucking cardio, right? And the persistence in the wrestling.
Yeah, he's from Pennsylvania.
I mean, yeah, Henzo Gracie, Philly. Yeah, so Maximov, he's shown, he's really willing to get after it. Control, 62%. You see Petrosky at 62% as well. I just think when you look at the guys that they fought in their two fights, and the cardio that they had in their two fights, it's like a whole other level. I mean, Hu Yaozhang,
it jumps out on the tape
nothing.
To that point.
Yeah, I mean, Hu Yaozhang, nothing, no response for anything on the ground. It's like Adrian was saying, when you're dominating someone, it's much easier to keep your gas tank. Gilmore, Petrosky was gassed after one, kind of like Gilmore have a little bit of a little show in round two, a little bit. And then round three just takes care of business, gets back to the wrestling.
Eventually gets the finish and
finally
saves us our ticket. Everybody and their grandma had bet Andre Petrosky to win by finishing.
Yeah, even grandma was in on it this time.
I did. I stole her social security number and made sure she was in on it, so she cashed.
Yeah, so Rogue is here on the Petrosky side.
I was supposed to make you laugh. What the fuck? You didn't even smile. Get out of here with your breakdown.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Guru. I completely missed that one.
Oh, all right, fuck you too.
Well, I'm trying to run the comments section.
Yeah, whatever. You're doing a great job. You're a savage.
All right.
We're 2 hours in. You're doing awesome.
So Nick Maximov, Rogue, I get it. Line looked way off, but it's just like, if you think you guys should be minus 195, -1, the -4 something. That also, I get it. Like, it seems way off, but at the end of the day, they do the same thing, and one guy just does it better and can do it more persistently. So, like, Petrosky, he is a decent-sized dude. He is like exactly. Maximov's got like all the advantages here when it comes to what he can do in the wrestling, and I just think to have done what he did against Puna Soriano, Cody Brundage is a tough guy as far as cardio goes and just overall ability. Hu Yaozhang and Gilmore. I mean, for it to take 3 rounds when you see your buddy Ramiz Brahimaj out there getting the round 1 on Gilmore, it tells you all you should know.
I mean, respectfully, you combine all the skills of Michael Gilmore and you add them to the skills of Yaozhang Hu. They're still not as good as Poliano Soriano. Respectfully.
So, second leg of our 7-unit parlay this week, because we had a -140 that was too good to pass up. We're going to try to win 5 units here, turn the boat around. We had Katlyn Chukagian, 3.4 units to win 2 and -170. Take that same line, Aleksandar Rakic, 3.4 units to win 2 and -170. We got that underdog play on Angela Hill is probably going to go up there. Kind of want to see the weigh-ins face-offs, get a little idea, how much we're willing to risk on it. That's probably something you can look forward to seeing. Finally, what else? Jake Hadley by decision could be something that you might end up seeing.
Yeah, I like that fight to go the distance in general, because I feel like what is that fight to go the distance in general? I feel like people think that fight's going to be a finish.
Fight goes the distance. I missed it.
Fight props -150. That almost makes me now want to go the other way. Hadley by submission is +450. So Nacimento by submission is +450. Those are very generic lines. That's very interesting.
Yeah, ultimately, Kute Laba and Tyra 2-unit parlay, and then we got the 7-unit one on Davey Grant and Nick Maximoff. So hey guys, those are the recap of our best bets, and Guru, take it away. We got 45 seconds to get under 2 hours here.
Listen, thank everybody so much for joining us, specifically the UFC fucking unbelievable man, awesome fighter, UFC
Bantamweight contender.
Thank you, UFC bantamweight contender Adrian Yanez. Thanks so
Undefeated
much
in
for
the
joining us.
UFC.
Seriously, undefeated in the UFC. Killing it. Gave us an hour of his time today. Thanks so much for joining us, man. Shout out to the sponsors. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to my co-host for putting up with me at TB Scouting MMA. You can follow him on Twitter, Instagram, Verdict, and Tapology. And if you're not already, Guru Scouting MMA, definitely follow me. Twitter, Verdict, Instagram, and Tapology. You'll see us next week for Home versus Vieira. And I believe we got Prodigy MMA on, so that's going to be fucking sick.
Hell yeah.
Take care, everybody. See you next week. Didn't get under 2 hours, but I got close.
It's all right. We stumbled and bumbled. Thank you, Rogue.
Thanks,
Catch you
Rogue.
later, peoples.